All right, we're going to ask everybody to find their seats. We want to give the candidates all the time allowed, so we are going to be underway by 8. So I'll open with a couple quick comments. My name's Ron Alden, Executive Director of the Somerset County Chamber of Commerce. We co-sponsored this along with Denny Hutchinson, representing Somerset County Farm Bureau, and of course the students, the government and civics class, and members of youth government at Somerset High School. I want to start by saying this is an incredible group of young people. I am so impressed, and under the leadership of Mr. Zanoni, they're just impressive. And the professionalism and what they do. And I know I shouldn't say this, but I asked their audience to, use that same level of professionalism, and we're going to give the candidates their time. I'm also going to introduce our mediator tonight is Mr. Chip Minnemeyer, publisher of the Tribune Democrat. He'll be mediating tonight. And just real quickly, because like I said, we're going to start right at 8. Everyone will open with a 2-minute opening. Questions have been taken by the audience, but also through the government's class, all through the chamber, the Farm Bureau. Everybody's participating in questions. Each candidate will get a minute response. The questions will be rotated so that everybody will be first or last tonight. This was set up to be very, very fair and just totally just making it a great event. For me particularly, and I know Denny and everyone, the county commissioner seat's a vital part of our county government. As a chamber exec, it's an important part of working with whomever's in office. I've been here 19 years, so I've worked with a lot. And I just think this is great. This is why we are the greatest country in the world, because of things like this. We have candidates stepping up to run for positions, and I think that's just wonderful, and that's who we are. So probably a little pause here till we get started, and I'm going to bring Chip up, and I'm going to go take a seat and listen to you. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Everybody, we'll try to get started right at 6, just to kind of keep everything on schedule. So that's still about 5 minutes away. So you can relax for 5 minutes. All right, I think that lull in the sound means we're about ready to start. Again, thank you. My name is Chip Minnemeyer. I'm honored to be here with you. I'm with the Tribune Democrat in Johnstown, and I'm really honored to be part of this night. Thank you all the candidates. All of them are here, which is fantastic. Thanks to all of you. I want to extend a real big thanks to the school district and to the students and Mr. Zanoni for their work in preparing for tonight with the questions, with the timers, with the lights. It's a very sophisticated system. I've done some of these where I had a stopwatch and I was trying to help. This is way better than anything I've ever seen. So great job by all the kids of getting us ready for a great night. I have a bunch of questions that were given to me, and I keep shuffling them so they're random. And but we're first going to start with opening statements. Everybody will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and talk about why they're running, and then we'll get into the questions. We're going to start with number 1 at the far end, and that's Ms. Tokar-Ickes. Pam?
I'm Somerset County Commissioner Pamela Tokar-Ickes, and I'm seeking re-election on the Democratic ballot. I served 16 years as commissioner, returning to the county in 2019 because this is where I would like to end my public service career. Throughout my tenure, I have worked on legacy projects that are the foundation for Somerset County's future. They include the construction of the Queen-Mahoning Pipeline for abundant water, the Laurel Highlands Business Park to provide shovel-ready development sites, the completion of Route 219, the expansion of broadband services, the renovation of our beautiful Somerset County Courthouse, and the deployment of a $10 million modern radio system to ensure public safety. All of these projects and more have provided the necessary assets needed to move our county forward. I'm committed to the responsibilities of county government to ensure that our children and our seniors are protected and our veterans receive the services to which they are entitled. I'm a boomerang. After college, I returned to the county with my husband to raise our family and to be closer to our parents. It's where we plan to retire and watch our grandchildren grow. Before running for office, I worked as the news director for radio station WVSC and then as a reporter for the Trib. I learned about the good people of Somerset County and the communities in which they live. That experience and my education have served me well as commissioner. It taught me to listen, to research, and to understand that there are many ways to solve problems in this complex world, but only through consensus, cooperation, and respect. Tonight, I ask all listening to choose a team that understands the county, can work together to balance competing interests, and with the relationships to do the job on day one. And finally, thank you to the students of Mr. Zanoni's Honors and Government class, Youth Government, the Somerset County Chamber of Commerce, and the Somerset County Farm Bureau for hosting this important event. I thank you all for coming, and I thank you all who are online for listening this evening.
All right. Next, in the number 2 spot, Mr. Shepley.
Thank you. Chuck, I would like to thank the Somerset County Chamber of Commerce, Somerset County Farm Bureau, Mr. Zanoni, and Youth Government Program, Mr. Monemeyer, and fellow candidates. I would like to start by introducing myself for those who don't know me. I'm Jim Shepley, and I'm seeking the Democrat nomination for Somerset County Commissioner. I graduated in 1970 from Forbes High School, which is now North Star. I served in the Pennsylvania National Guard for 8 years as a Spec 5. I was deployed to Wilkesboro during Agnes, in 77 the Johnstown flood, and the trucker strike that happened, I'm not sure on the date, in the 80s. I'm retired from PennDOT. I was an assistant county manager, and I attended management school. I attended a supervisor's school, and I attended, assistant county maintenance manager academies. I was in charge of the Salisbury, Tornado, and the Marisdale areas, and I operated a command post at Salisbury. Met the governor at that time was Tom Ridge, and Tom, I got to stand up with Tom, and he was amazed at PennDOT and all the orange hats and the yellow trucks that were out there helping the people of the Marisdale area. I was the Queen Township auditor, and I served on the North Star School Board. I was a football coach at North Star and a basketball coach. I served as judge of elections in Queen Township, and I presently live and reside with my wife, Linda. We have 2 sons and 5 grandchildren.
All right, number 3 is Mr. Betcher.
Hello. Hello. My name is Mike Betcher. I'm the president of the school board in the Wimber Area District. I've been on the board of directors there for a little over 10 years. Prior to that, I ran the Youth Football League in Wimber. I'm a lifelong resident of Somerset County. During my time with the school board at Wimber, we achieved some pretty amazing things. We took our fund balance from about $7.5 to a little over $11 million, while at the same time winning the Blue Ribbon Award for both our elementary school and our entire school district, which is awarded by the United States Department of Education to the top school districts in the country. So our combination of financial performance and academic performance won us the award of the top overachieving district in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, as reported by the Pittsburgh Business Times. I've spent 25 years in private business, helping businesses and organizations become more efficient and more effective at achieving their goals. What I think I offer to the voters of Somerset County is an opportunity to look at real business development, at really making a difference for our kids and their kids for generations to come. There has been some talk about this position and the salary associated with, so I will just tell everybody right now, because we just have really brief answer moments. If I'm elected, I'm going to take the first $9,000 of this salary and donate it back to the 11 public school districts in Somerset County. Now, my goal there, and I've already spoken to our superintendent in Wimber, is to bring all of those superintendents from the districts together to regionalize a consortium. I mean, $9,000 isn't a ton of money, but if we take $9,000 and build something on it, I think we can build a future that's brighter for all of the districts, all of the kids, and all the people here. My name is Mike, and I'm running for county commissioner. Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Walker.
Good evening and welcome. I am Gerald Walker, and I am the current chairman of the board of the Somerset County Commissioners. I am serving in my 8th year in this position, and it's a position which I will always use to make our county a place that not only allows our families to live and work, but as a community, we grow where we can thrive and our families can continue to grow and build a future. Prior to commissioner, I served 15 years as a supervisor with Stony Creek Township. Several of my supervisor friends are here this evening, and that's where I developed my skills working in local government. These skills included budgeting, grants, and most importantly, building partnerships to ensure the responsible use of taxpayer dollars. Those skills have served me well as I continue to strive to provide the critical services provided by county government, all while being resourceful in the use of taxpayer dollars. While committing to the day-to-day activities within the county, I will also advance the projects that we all know will benefit the future generations of county residents. US 219, this project will not only provide a completed north-south corridor between 2 major east-west routes, but will also bring unrealized economic opportunities to our region. Broadband. As a newly realized necessity in our daily lives, I will use my position on the board of Alleghany's Broadband Incorporated to leverage dollars to use toward the affordable and reliable services to the unserved areas of Somerset County. These are 2 of the many projects that we continue to move forward to take Somerset County into the future. Thank you all, and have a great evening.
Next will be Mr. Fuffman.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Fuffman. I'm running for the Republican nomination for County Commissioner. I'm a lifelong resident of Somerset County. I currently reside in Brothers Valley Township with my beautiful wife, Vicki. Graduated from Berlin Brothers Valley High School in 1988. Shortly thereafter, I attended the Pennsylvania State Police Academy and graduated and became a trooper. I was a trooper for 25 years. Vast majority of that time was spent in Somerset County at the county barracks as well as the Turnpike barracks. Upon retirement from the state police, I was appointed chief of police for Berlin Borough. And this position also, I held the position of school resource officer, which put me in an element that I'm very familiar with. I've coached football and wrestling at Berlin for 30 years. I can't believe I'm that old. But after that, I worked a little bit of part-time with the Sheriff's Department, and then I was bitten by the political bug. I am currently the Somerset County Prothonotary. It's a position that I really enjoy, but this position allowed me to take a peek at county government. Once involved with county government, I saw where I felt that there were some shortfalls, and I felt like that I could make a difference. And that's why I'm running for county commissioner. I feel that I can get in there along with Mr. Kimmel here, and we can work together and take Somerset County to the next level. My name is Brian Fuffman. I hope to persuade you to vote for me in the primary. Everybody have a great evening, and good luck to everyone.
Next up is Mr. Kimmel.
First, I want to thank the young government class for being here and Somerset School District for holding this for us. My name is Irvin Kimmel. I'm a lifelong resident of Somerset County. I believe it is important that we make Somerset County a place in which our families can continue to have a future and more generations can continue to make Somerset County their family's home. I'm a family man who's also active in our community. I've been married to my wife for 17 and a half years. I have 2 high school-age sons. I have made a successful career of driving tractor-trailer since I graduated high school from here at Somerset. I grew up on a dairy farm and continue to help other dairy farmers throughout my life. My wife and I bought her family's farm, and we raise beef cows, pigs, and chickens. We also grow potatoes and hay for our own animals. Some of my community involvement includes I've coached Pee Wee football for 8 years, and I was also a certified referee for AYSO, PA West Soccer, and I've also served in leadership positions in several local organizations, including the president of Rockwood Youth Football and president of AYFL Youth Football League for 8 years. I'm currently a PIAA certified football official. I'm a proud member of New Centerville Volunteer Fire Department, where both my sons are junior firemen. My family and I are members of Wesley Chapel United Methodist Church. I have the experience serving the people of Rockwood School District for the last 10 years as an elected school board member. I've always made my decisions based on the best interests of the students of the school district and the district's taxpayers. My fellow board members gave me the privilege of being the school board president, and I've been serving in that role for the last 6 years. We've managed to keep our school district the 3rd lowest school tax in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania while not raising taxes for 10 or 11 years. The young people of our county are its future, and I would like to work for the people to keep this a great place to raise a family and a place where graduates of high schools want to return to live.
All right, Mrs. Dawson.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am Colleen Dawson, and I am seeking the Republican nomination for re-election. First, I would like to thank everyone for coming, and I would also like to thank Mr. Zanoni's Honor and Government class for facilitating this event, and also the Farm Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this event. So, prior to becoming a county commissioner, I was actually the chairman of the Somerset County Republican Committee, and prior to that, I was the vice chairman back in the 1990s. I also served on Stoystown Borough Council and as the treasurer of the Somerset Ambulance Association. So prior to that, I was I had 34 years of experience as a paralegal at a local law firm. So I specialized in real estate and contracts and office administration. Those ideals and those experiences helped me to really hit the ground running whenever I became a commissioner 3 years ago. So the relationships that you make and the partnerships that you build just really makes a huge difference in being a commissioner. And whenever, as being a commissioner, I serve everybody of the county. I serve Republicans, I am there for Democrats, for independents, and for those that do not vote. As a commissioner, you need to learn that you represent everyone. So I am very proud of our Route 219, the expansion there, our broadband expansion, and I hope to certainly be able to serve you in the future. I hope you make an intelligent choice when it comes to voting on May 16th.
Mr. Bumbarger.
Hello, my name is Don Bumbarger, and I'm from Acosta, where I'm self-employed as a mechanic. I've been married for 38 years, and we've raised 3 children, only one of which still lives in the county. I'm a board member with the Lincoln Township Municipal Authority and a chief and treasurer of the Acosta Volunteer Fire Department. There are some similarities between these. My business, the municipal authority, and the fire department, where my business is an extremely small business, and the municipal authority is one of the smaller ones in the county. And the fire department I belong to is the smallest one in the county. But they have there's one more thing that they got in common, that I'm involved with the 3 of them, and they are all 3 in the black. I'm a believer of living within our means and by prioritizing what is most important. And that would mean weighing employee compensation with taxpayers' concern on property tax costs and what and how much for different program funding. This is what I think I could bring to the job as a commissioner. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. They all had 2 minutes to introduce themselves and talk about why they're running. Now we'll go into the questions, and they'll have 1 minute, so it'll be a little bit of a sprint through these questions, and everybody will get a chance to go first, last, and in between. And the first randomly selected question is number 7 for your purposes. Starts at the end with Ms. Tothar-Ickes. Do you think current county land use regulations and permitting processes are effective? If not, what would you do to improve them?
The best thing about going first is I get to go last next. County land use, that was a joke. County land use. Somerset County has a number of land ordinances, and of course the goal is to find that fine balance between encouraging development and yet respecting the regulations that maintain the environment and also respect the property owners around you. And so we just recently revisited our county subdivision ordinance and made some changes. And I feel that overall those changes have been received very positively by the development community. We have very skilled county staff that helps people through the process, and as a result, I think we try to encourage development, but at the same time respect the restrictions that have to be there by state and local law.
Mr. Shepley, same question.
Yes. You know, for so many years, I believe that some restrictions to the farmers and to industry have hampered the growth of Somerset County. Sure, we need to look at that fine line where we're polluting or you know, we're damaging swamplands or whatever. But I think we need to draw industry in. I think we need to open up a little bit and and use a little common sense whenever we do grant the permits and things like this to get our industry coming in and back on track. Thank you.
Mr. Betcher.
I have never spoken with the Farm Bureau about the current challenges they face, but I think if we're going to talk about what is in the best interest of the people of this county, the most important thing we can do is have ownership groups from these different interests and talk to them about what challenges they face. Frankly, I'm not an expert on this question or the answer to it at this point in time, but I am an expert about finding solutions to help people do business and to do business better. So the answer I would have is, let's talk to the people that are being challenged by these laws, figure out if there's something the county can do to make that situation better, and then frankly, let's do it. There's certainly regulations on the state level that we have to follow, but the truth is, you got to go to the experts to get their opinion on these things, and that's what I would do.
And Mr. Walker.
Yeah, having served 23 years in local government, first, as I mentioned, being a township supervisor, and now as a county commissioner, regulations are nothing new. But I do believe that while we have to work within the regulations that we have, to a degree, because that helps protect everyone across the board, as long as they are administered fairly. I think that if there are issues that arise, we have and always will take those issues into consideration as we consider updating our land use and subdivision regulations.
Mr. Fulkman.
As Mr. Betcher stated there, I'm not an expert in this by any stretch of the imagination. The only thing that I ever built was my home, and I know what a pain that was. It's my understanding that we need to streamline things, that you have to approach as many as 3 different engineers just to be able to break ground to build a new structure. I know that I had a lot of runaround whenever I was building my home 12 years ago. That's the one answer that I can give. Let's streamline things, make it easier for people to come in here, build homes, build businesses, and get this county moving in the right direction.
Mr. Kimmel.
So on my years of being on the school, I know there's a lot of regulations you have to go through for land use and developments and things like that. I think that there's some of them that are maybe a little bit much, and even for the farmers, there's probably some areas where we can look at to possibly get rid of as much red tape, but we also need to protect our our community and our environment and our streams and our our wildlife. I'm not real sure. I've never went through the process of building anything. We remodeled a home. So it was a little bit easier for us. We just have to sit down with people to figure out what the areas are that they think is a big hassle in development. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So in my prior background as a paralegal, I specialized in real estate and title, deeds, subdivisions. So that's my wheelhouse, that's my expertise. And in 2021, we hired a new employee in our planning commission. And that new employee brought to light that we needed to change our subdivision and land use ordinance. So we did that. I worked together with him, and we worked with all of the different entities within the county that needed some input. We listened to farmers, we listened to other citizens, and we did our best to make a very fair and uniform change to that ordinance. So in Somerset County, we're very thankful for that. When it comes to permitting, most of the permits are actually done through the DEP, and that, of course, is a federal government regulator, and the department with DEP and our state makes the additional permitting regulations. Thank you.
I believe there's way too much regulation. By nature, I'm a libertarian type person. Let people do what they want as long as they're not harming others. A lot of people in government like to micromanage things and are more of have an authoritarian view of things, want to tell people how and what to do on their properties and live their lives. And most of the permits for building homes and stuff do go through the township, but there are county regulations such as putting up a sign, you have to pay a fine to the county. They call it a fee, but when you're within one of these areas and you want to put your sign too high, if it's put on the turnpike, or so people on the turnpike can see, you got to pay a bigger fine. And that's just being, sorry.
Hello? Yes. Our second question will begin with Mr. Shepley. These are randomly selected questions. It's number 11 on your list down here. You can see the questions actually on this screen over here. And here's the question for Mr. Shepley to begin. What would you do for the senior citizens of Somerset County?
What I'd do for the senior citizens of Somerset County is, well, first of all, they have, the Area on Aging has senior citizen centers, and I'd like to see more of those open and access to those. I understand during the pandemic that there was a few leaders left go that ran these centers, and I'd like to bring those people back. They seem to have generated a lot of interest with the senior citizens. And another thing is with the senior citizens, I know you're all on a fixed income. I want to hold the line on taxes, you know, because you only have so much money coming in, and you can't spend something you don't have. So I'd be looking out for you. Thank you.
Mr. Betcher.
I think the most important phrase when you're talking about taking care of our seniors is accessibility, because there are programs available that aren't always made readily available or readily apparent to the people that apply for them or that qualify for them. One of the reasons I'm doing this is my mom is she's going to kill me for saying this. She's recently, become a senior citizen, and I worry about her. My dad passed away a couple years ago, and you see the programs in watching my father go through Alzheimer's. I learned a lot about the system firsthand, and the information is not readily available to our seniors. I'm good friends with the state representatives in our area. State offers a lot of programs. I mean, my goal would be to provide information in a more accessible manner to the seniors in Somerset County.
Mr. Walker.
Somerset County is fortunate to interact regularly with the fantastic director that we have at the Area Agency on Aging. And any time that Mr. Yoder comes to us with any situation that he thinks will benefit our seniors, we are always open to any of his suggestions as we move forward. Our ability to draw seniors back to our senior centers has been met with slow recovery since the COVID pandemic. But I think one of our biggest services that we could improve is educating our seniors about the programs and benefits that are available.
Mr. Fufman.
I have a 91-year-old mother that lives down in New Baltimore, and the biggest problem that we run into is that lack of education, the lack of knowledge of what programs are out there that exist to help her. And then a lot of the problems is getting the right information to the organizations. So if we could develop something to educate these seniors and assist these seniors in submitting the correct paperwork, that would go well above and beyond where we're at right now. And one of the other things that we're having a problem with the Area Agency on Aging is keeping employees. We've had 2 or 3 employees leave the agency within the last few months. So we have to look into that and see what the problem there is there, because we're losing a lot of experience. You know, these people know how the agency runs, and they're leaving, and that's creating a void.
Mr. Kimmel.
I believe that we need to have someone there to educate the seniors also. You know, there's a lot of programs out there that will, you know, help the senior citizens out with their heat, you know, and their upkeep of their homes and stuff. And I don't think it's as readily available to them as everyone thinks. I don't think that they completely understand what the process is to go through it. You know, I think we need to have a better program to help them. You know, and like I said, make sure our area of aging has the tools they need to take care of the seniors that, you know, go in there every day for their meals, you know, and the ones that look after them in their homes and things like that.
Ms. Dawson.
Thank you. I serve on the Area Agency of Aging Advisory Board and also on the Protective Services Board. And I can tell you that we have fantastic employees at our Area Agency on Aging. And they do help the seniors there. They have vast knowledge. They help them with paperwork. Prior to this year, they actually helped them fill out tax return forms and rent rebates. Of course, sometimes volunteers get a little sparse, but we have a plethora of employees and volunteers. They do a great job there. They also are wonderful with education. I've gone to many dinner and seminars, and they teach. They help the seniors in so many ways. And the one thing that I would like to see implemented yet in Somerset County is actually a seniors, like a playground, sort of. I would like to see exercise equipment that is available for the seniors in at least one location in Somerset County.
Mr. Bumbarger.
I can't disagree with anything there, but I, just on my own, what I've seen, there seems to be plenty of programs out there for them to, some of the knowledge that they get isn't there. I serve as an EMT also, and I run into a lot of older people who do not realize what help they can get. And my mind right now is going to one lady that seriously needed some help. And when I called into the senior center, I went from phone call to phone call trying to get her somebody, and they were like, "What do you want us to do?" And oh, I wanted you to go visit the lady. And but that's neither here nor there. That's I think the programs are there. Education's what's needed. Thank you.
Back to the far end with Ms. Tokarikis.
One of the most important responsibilities county government has is to protect those who can no longer protect themselves. And in the instance of children and our senior citizens, that is a very important role that we are deeply, deeply committed to. I think you would be very surprised at the senior abuse, the elder abuse issue that we have in Somerset County. There are individuals who are taken advantage of financially, are abused physically, and our Area Agency on Aging has that responsibility predominantly to protect those who cannot protect themselves. We've got care managers who go into the homes of senior citizens and provide access to the information on all of the services we can provide. And as you have already heard, we have a very vibrant and active senior center program in many communities in Somerset County. We can always use more volunteers. We can always do more outreach, but everyone should know that our Agency on Aging is doing wonderful outreach with our senior population in Somerset County. That is the demographic that is growing the fastest, 80 and over. And so it is a priority for the county, will continue to be a priority for the county, and it is one that I am very proud of.
That last question came from the audience, so thank you very much, whoever produced that question for us. This one was done in advance. It's number 4, and it starts with Mr. Betcher. It is, what will you do to help ensure that residents of Somerset County have access to reliable, high-speed internet?
Well, I think that's a focus not just locally, but nationally. I actually have a pretty strong background in technology. When the COVID pandemic hit, in Wimber's area school district, we went out and bought a bunch of these broadband boxes and deployed them. They ran off of cellular signals, and we put them in vans, and we put them in churches, we put them in fire halls across the northern part of the county, bought 100 of them, so that kids who lived in rural areas or kids that lived in low-income areas that couldn't afford broadband stepped up and could get on the internet, could get to their classrooms. So I mean, there are some programs moving forward now where I know they're using the 911 towers to broadcast and try to deliver via that network broadband to rural areas. I mean, it's an ongoing project. I believe there's federal funding for it. I mean, what I would do would put a priority on it for all the people in the county and beyond.
Mr. Walker.
As I mentioned in my opening, I am vice chair of the Alleghenies Broadband Incorporated, which is a regional effort to provide the backbone that our counties so desperately need to provide affordable, reliable broadband services to our county. County has committed dollars from the ARPA money to provide match for any programs that we can leverage to bring the millions of dollars needed to better serve the underserved and unserved portions of Somerset County.
Now to Mr. Fufman.
If there's anything good that came out of COVID, it's the fact that we've realized that you don't need a brick and mortar building to work out of. My oldest son currently works remotely. He's employed with a business in Pittsburgh, but due to his access to internet service, he can work remotely 4 days a week. With that in mind, he had to move from my house because we don't have access to that. So broadband is a huge priority for us. Not only does it give us the ability to work remotely, but it also increases the value of our homes. That was something that was pointed out to me with the home prices in Somerset County. The homes that had access to broadband, the value of those homes went up during COVID, while the homes that did not have access to it stayed relatively the same. So that's a huge priority.
Mr. Kimmel.
So during the pandemic, for us at Rockwood School District, we live in an area where there is very limited internet access out there. And during COVID, for our students when we were shut down, we did the same thing as Mr. Betcher said. We put those broadband cellular things around the churches and different places in the area so the kids could do their schoolwork. And where I live myself, there's no internet access coming by our home. So we have a tower that jumps from another area that we get from, and I think it's it's a pretty big priority of ours to reach out to the congressional and state leaders to help push this issue along a little quicker.
Ms. Dawson, you're next.
Thank you. So in Somerset County, during COVID, we put $2.4 million into some of the projects that these gentlemen are speaking of with the school districts. We put county COVID dollars to make sure that our students had broadband access. In addition to that, as I said in my opening statement, we've put $7.75 million, not just us, but also the federal government, into expanding broadband in Somerset County. We had a reverse auction with the FCC that put $5 million out to serve unserved and underserved areas here in the county. As I said, we put $2.4 million of COVID money, and we have $350 million of our ARPA money already pledged to help with the broadband access across the county. And it's no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. And the rural aspect of Somerset County makes it a hard sell to those internet service providers that are looking for their return on investment. So we are proud to say that we are working hard, and we are trying to access that $5 billion, with a B, billion dollars of money, of dollars that's out there for broadband expansion.
Mr. Bumbarger?
I believe the question was, what would we do to get broadband? I've heard a lot of people say that that it is really needed. Nobody is disagreeing with that. I don't have nothing special to add to how I would bring broadband.
Ms. Tokarikis?
The Center for Rural Pennsylvania recently did a survey, and they found that 1/3 of Pennsylvania's rural communities, Somerset County included, had broadband speeds that were less than 25 megabytes per second. That means you can't compete at school, and you can't do work from home remotely or from your place of business in a means that would really be at a speed that would be reliable today. Somerset County has used a great portion of its federal rescue dollars for broadband expansion, and what we are going to be doing in the very near future is bringing the Michael Baker Corporation on board to actually help us collect the data, that granular information we need. We know that a great part of Somerset County is either underserved or is not served, and so we have to prove to compete for those dollars where those locations are. County government's not going to put the broadband infrastructure in place. We're going to partner with the private sector to do that. But to compete for those dollars, we have to have that data. And you're going to be hearing a lot about the Somerset County Broadband Initiative in the weeks to come. I think this is one of the county's priorities. We've been working on it behind the scenes, and as you have heard my colleagues say here, it has been really the silver lining to the cloud that was the pandemic.
And Mr. Shepley, same question.
Yes, I've known probably 2 or 3 companies that moved out of Somerset County. One went to Tennessee because they didn't have high-speed internet service that would fit their company. So, you know, we have to do something to keep these companies here, and we have to provide the best that we can get for them. And I'm glad to hear some of the programs are initiated already. But there's even the cell towers. There's places in Somerset County you can't get cell service, and I imagine they don't get broadband there either. Fairhope, Glencoe, all those areas there. Hey, we got to help these people out. We know what disaster happened down in Heinemann, and those people couldn't get out. So we need to do something. Thank you.
We're moving on to our next question. It'll start with Mr. Walker. It's number 5 down here. This question goes, Somerset County has a rich history of energy production. There's a delicate balance that needs to be achieved between energy development and agriculture. What steps will you take to ensure this balance is struck and both industries can thrive locally?
As with a lot of our projects, it's about the partnerships that you work on throughout your time in office. And this would be a partnership that we would continue to develop with the agricultural partners in Somerset County. We do have a rich history of the multiple options and resources for energy, but it is developing them and making use of them in a way that is actually safe and friendly to our communities.
Fuffman.
Just sitting here processing that, I think a lot of that goes back to federal and state regulations. You know, we've been digging coal out of the ground here in Somerset County forever, and we've had farms here just as long. So I think that that's something that we as a county, I don't know how that we even address that. Those 2 businesses and 2 industries have been working hand in hand for 200 years, and I think we will have the ability to continue to do that. I don't know that the Somerset County is going to step in and change any of that.
Mr. Kimmel.
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, certainly. The question was, Somerset County has a rich history of energy production. There's a delicate balance that needs to be achieved between energy development and agriculture. What steps will you take to ensure this balance is struck and both industries can thrive locally?
I agree that we have always dug coal and around here, and the farmers have gone hand in hand with the coal. They strip 20 acres here just to make ends meet. Somerset County is very rich with both industries. I don't know if there's anything in the county that possibly we could do any better for them.
Ms. Dawson.
Thank you. So I don't know the intent of the person who asked that question. However, as soon as you start talking about energy production and farmland and agriculture, my mind goes immediately to solar farms and to windmills. We all know we have windmills lining the ridges here. Many of them are on prime farmland, but the majority of them are on the mountaintops where perhaps farming isn't the best use of that land. But when it comes to solar farms, they look for wide open spaces, no trees, wide access to the sun, because that's where they make their money. And that takes the farmland out of production. And that is what we have to have a very careful balance with. The windmills, you can still farm around them. The solar farms, you cannot place crops and agriculture on the same property as the solar farms. So there is a delicate balance there indeed.
Mr. Bumbarger, you're up.
I wasn't aware that farming and coal were in opposition. I work with a lot of farmers. Several of them have had their land strip mined, some of them even a little deep mine. I'm just real close to where I live. There's at least 3. They're still farming the land even afterwards. So I'm not sure if this is even a county government issue, but so thank you.
Ms. Tokaris-Ickes.
Somerset County's heritage is really built on energy with our history with coal and steel. And we are seeing new opportunities and challenges presented by those opportunities when it comes to some of the new energy sources like solar development and, of course, wind. I had been on the Board of Commissioners at the time that the county was asked to step in and implement a wind ordinance. We seated a wind advisory committee that advised the commissioners on the county's wind ordinance. Subsequently, some of the townships also passed their own wind ordinances that were a bit more restrictive than the county's wind ordinance. And I think we're seeing that discussion happening as well for the development of solar. I would suggest that as we are seeing solar projects come to fruition in other parts of the state, we look at best practices there and we engage the Farm Bureau, the agricultural community, our Planning Commission, and the Township Supervisors Association as well.
Next is Mr. Shepley.
Yeah, the farm is a commodity that we're losing every day. Not only in Somerset County, but across Pennsylvania. We're going to have to sit back and take a look at, what we're losing as far as farmlands. You not only have coal mines and solar fields made up, but you're looking at roadways taking farmlands. And what are we going to do whenever it comes to making our food, growing our food, and feeding our families in the future? I think we need to take a look at restrictions on some things and maybe come to a compromise. Thank you.
Mr. Betcher.
I think when we talk about energy production, sorry, is that really loud? First of all, coal is regulated pretty effectively by the state and the federal government. I think the same is true of gas and fracking. I mean, I don't think we have really, from a county government perspective, a lot of influence on those rules. As far as wind, I think there are opportunities for both wind and solar to find a mix into energy production on a county level. And I think really a lot of those things are going to be individual case basis, and the way it should be managed from a county perspective is you got to get the people from the wind industry and the farmers from the county at the same table to talk about what concerns you have and try to find common ground where it can work for both sides. I mean, this is new ground, right? You know, no pun intended, but it's new territory for these industries coming into established farming agriculture in our county. We need to work together with this industry to find a marriage of the two that is effective for the county.
All right, moving to the next question, which will start with Mr. Fluffman. A lack of quality workforce is a major issue in Somerset County, as it is in many areas of the United States. Do you have a plan on how to attract and retain workers specifically for the county's own employment?
I think that's something that has to be addressed at the high school level. You know, we have to educate these children about opportunities in the workforce. Too many times, college is presented as the only option to our high school graduates. You know, there's a plethora of trade schools out there that would give those guys the skills and girls the skills to enter the workforce at decent paying jobs. I tell a story of back in the mid 70s, early 80s. My three brothers, oldest brothers, all moved to York County because there were no opportunities here in Somerset County at that time. The steel mills were shutting down, coal was drying up, so they moved down there and worked at the Harley-Davidson factory. We need to create those opportunities here. We need to bring industry here. If we do, the workforce will come.
And just to reiterate, I think the questioner was interested in the county's workforce beyond, like, county government workforce as opposed to the entire county. I didn't mean to mislead you there. No. Mr. Kimmel, you're up.
So if the question is to retain the county workers, correct? Is that what the question was?
Clarify that for me. Is that what you?
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Then.
That's the way I read your question. Workforce in general.
Specific in just obviously the county that everyone does, so it's really relevant to workforce.
So you were fine, Mr. Fluffman. Mr. Kimmel is general workforce.
Okay. All right.
Could have gone either way.
Okay. So I kind of agree with Brian that, you know, it does start at the high school level, you know, and, you know, college is a great thing, but we also, you know, need to promote a little bit of, you know, job workforce, you know, in the schools, because Somerset County has great workers in this county. You know, I've been all over the country, and every time I go south, you know, they ask you where you're from, and you say Somerset County, and they want you to stay because the people in this county work. You know, the workforce is here. Is just, we need to get some better paying jobs here to keep them here.
Ms. Dawson, you're next.
Thank you. So the Great Resignation, that's what we all call it, because we have workforce issues not just in county government, but throughout the Commonwealth, throughout the United States, and actually throughout the world. So people are walking away from their jobs in numbers that we've never seen before. Whether that's a side effect of COVID, you know, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's the workforce getting older. But in any event, here in Somerset County government, we strive to create different programs so that we can attract new workers and retain those that we have. We have education experience. We actually pay for some of our workers to further their education. We have trainings that are available and certifications that are available. We strive to make sure that our employees have every possibility that they can have to further their education. And also, we strive to make our salaries comparable to all other counties in the area and of the same size.
Mr. Bombarger.
This goes back almost to question one, in which with businesses and regulation, making the businesses want to be here, having a good reason to be here, that's going to bring the jobs that will bring the workforce. As for the people that are walked away, yeah, there's lots of people with no job and ain't looking for a job. But all I can say is we need to make it easier for business to come to the area. The county government cannot create jobs, but they can make it easy for businesses to come who will create the jobs.
Ms. Tokarikis.
By a show of hands, can the students that are here tonight tell me if you plan to stay in Somerset County? Raise your hand if you plan to stay here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the problem. We need to connect the available jobs with the students that want to stay in Somerset County, or some of you hopefully will come back to Somerset County. But this is what we are facing. We are facing the loss of our youth in Somerset County because a lot of them don't realize that there are opportunities for family-sustaining jobs right here at home. And I talked to a group of students a few years ago who told me that if you stay, it was perceived that you weren't going to be a success. That broke my heart, and it really kicked off an initiative called Success in Somerset County with the Chamber of Commerce, with the Community Foundation, that aimed to do just that, to make kids aware of the opportunities that exist. That's why you're seeing those tours into local businesses. We have to turn this around, and it's going to take us all to do it.
Mr. Shepley.
Hello, okay. Back in '07, I ran for commissioner. At that time, there was a project went on in West Virginia, right over the border from Pennsylvania. Does anybody know where Cabela's is at? Okay, if you do, Cabela's was started on an $11 million investment. Has anyone been down there lately? They have warehouses, they have jobs, good paying jobs. They got restaurants, they got car dealerships there, and it's thriving. I wanted to do that back in '07, okay? And I can understand why people are leaving. Whenever you can only work a few hours a week and get minimum wage, why would you want to stay? I think we owe it to our future workers to bring in sustainable jobs and employment that pay a decent wage.
And Mr. Betcher.
This is a big question for 60 seconds. I think if you look at the opportunities that are available in Somerset County right now, post-COVID world, there are people exiting big cities that work for big companies that can now work remotely. And I know this because the house right next door to my house, a couple bought it sight unseen from Chicago and moved there because they can now work remotely wherever they want. I think a big challenge we face in Somerset County is we don't market ourselves well. You look at the websites for Bedford County and Westmoreland County, they're open for business, man. If you're on the road and you're trying to move here, where are you going to look? You look at our website, and it's not good, guys. We got to do better at selling who we are and what we have to offer. We have a great workforce that's ready to work right here. We have shovel-ready sites where we can build and we can develop. I have 25 years of business experience dealing with manufacturing, dealing with people in business to tell them about the advantage we have right here in our county. I would love to do that for this county.
And Mr. Walker.
As a lifelong resident of Somerset County that has never even looked outside of our borders for employment, I realize how important this issue is now, sitting in my position after COVID. So we do partnership on many issues, or on many workforce initiatives. particularly one with Southern Alleghenies, our Southern Alleghenies Workforce Development Board, and we partner with Penn Highlands, Clarion, the adult programs at our very own Somerset County Technical Center. So it's an issue that we look at daily, we deal with daily at the county and throughout, because without the workforce to produce the products that our county is famous for, we can't get the job done.
All right, for the next question, we will jump down to Mr. Kimmel to start. And for those of you who wanted more time to talk about workforce, it just happens to be the next question randomly picked is similar in nature. So let me read this for you, and you may be able to carry on with your thought. As County Commissioner, how can you help attract and retain professionals, such as doctors, to come to Somerset County, as well as address similar concerns with keeping young people in the county? Mr. Kimmel.
So attracting doctors, that would, I'm not sure, I'm not in the medical profession, but, we have a small hospital that is run by UPMC now, so, UPMC is going to, attract their own doctors, and there's already a fair amount of family practices around. But the workforce, to retain them, like I said, you have to get some better paying jobs here to, try to bring in some brick and mortar buildings where they can, people can work remotely. If the main business is here, where they can work remotely and possibly go, into the office one day a week, that would be an excellent choice for them.
Ms. Dawson?
Thank you. So as far as attracting professionals here to our county, that's not county government's function. That's the function of private industry and private businesses, private nonprofits. We have the hospital here, which has their own recruiting. Again, not county government. But what county government can do is we can make Somerset County a wonderful, viable place to live. We can make sure that our quality of life here in Somerset County is tops for the area. We can also make sure that we have broadband connectivity, because everybody looks for that, and we're working on that. There's billions of dollars out there available for that, and we know that that's a priority. And one of the other things we can do in Somerset County is we can continue developing our trails and our outdoor recreation, because that is huge when it comes to young professionals. They want to make sure that their quality of life is the best that it can possibly be.
Mr. Bumbarger.
I do not see that it is our job to specifically attract to create the jobs or bring the people here, but creating an environment in which the people want to live here, which Ms. Dawson just said about trails and parks and stuff, is a good thing, and making it easy for the businesses to be here. Thank you.
Ms. Tokar-Eckes.
I had the opportunity to work on a project that was trying to recruit psychiatrists to this region in the past 5 years. And it was very interesting. Areas that were trying to attract professionals that were successful at doing so, first of all, had to have the professional positions available to recruit to. So our hospital would be a primary recruiter for positions like that. And in addition, they married their economic development efforts with their tourism marketing efforts, because what professionals are looking for is the whole package. They're looking for not only the economic opportunities, but they're looking for cultural diversity and for nightlife and for outdoor recreation. We have most of those. I mean, there's some nightlife around here, let's face it. But you have to package them all together, and we do have the professionals that can do that. That is something county government could and should do with our economic development and our tourism professionals. We've talked.
Mr. Shepley, you're next.
Yes, I believe with growth, you keep people here. You attract people in with new jobs. With new jobs, people stay, and hospitals grow, doctors' offices grow. And yes, all the things that my fellow candidates mentioned, rails to trails and places to go, recreation, is a vital part of attracting people in. But I think with growth, I think the hospitals will come, the doctors will come, and the psychiatrists will come also.
Mr. Betcher?
First of all, I want to find out where Pam's going tonight, and maybe I'll go hang out there. Hey, you know what doctors like? And doctors are tricky, but doctors like reasonable real estate costs and good schools and outdoor activities and all the cool stuff that Somerset County has to offer. What they don't see is when they go deciding where can I live, which, by the way, e-health is a large and growing industry as well, where, again, people can live wherever they want to. You can see your doctor on the internet. As a matter of fact, my wife works for CVS, Aetna Health. They promote that to their members, okay? So there are opportunities to, you know, we're not responsible for creating private industry jobs. We are responsible for marketing as much as anything else what we have to offer to people that are looking to where can we live and raise a family? This is a great answer to that question, and we don't do a good job at answering it. So we got to get better, and I think we can. I think we can really do well.
Mr. Walker, you're next.
Well, I think it's been said often enough here that, you know, the COVID pandemic did have silver linings, and one of the silver linings to the pandemic was the fact that Somerset County is where people want to come to now. But we do need to do a better job at promoting the quality of life that comes along with living in Somerset County. And many of the projects that we are working on currently at the county, we talk about the Broadband initiative. Well, telehealth is a huge issue brought about by the COVID pandemic. So many of while we can't directly encourage individuals to come to Somerset County, we can promote this as the place that you want to live and work from. Thank you.
And Mr. Fofman.
Marketing, marketing, marketing. We have to promote the wholesomeness of Somerset County. Again, with my previous profession, I could have lived anywhere in the Commonwealth, and I chose to come running back to Somerset County as soon as I could because I knew this is where I wanted to raise my family. I knew this is where I wanted my boys to grow up. So it's the wholesomeness of Somerset County, marketing ourselves, and I think we need to set the Economic Development Council back up and promote Somerset County and keep Somerset County first, okay? Everything that we do, we should be thinking Somerset County first. When we have opportunities in the county to hire professionals, they should come from Somerset County.
All right. Our next question also deals with an element of economic development, but it's a little more specific. So listen to the question. We're going to start with Ms. Dawson down here. In the area of economic development, what would your plan be to attract new businesses into the many economic opportunity zones within the county?
Well, that's a strange question because we have economic opportunity zones within our county. We have Keystone Opportunity Zones. We have Keystone Innovation Zones. We have a business park that needs to be developed, absolutely, needs to be marketed, yes, but we have a business park that has broadband. It has water, it has sewer, it has three-phase electric. There are so many opportunities here. We need to work with JARI, which we do. We have Johnstown Area Industries as our CEDO, our Certified Economic Development Organization, and they do an amazing job. They do an amazing job regionally. statewide, and also internationally. We have the areas for these businesses to come in, shovel-ready sites at a reasonable price, and they will market those, but we all have to promote Somerset County to anyone that we know, any business that we're involved in, to help them understand that the opportunity area.
And Mr. Bumbarger, you're next.
I don't know what we could do more than providing a business almost everything that they need, except stay away from business. I just know one place that starting their shop, and well, this goes to more of a township issue, but they built it themselves and they put the light switches in, came by, the inspector says they're half an inch or an inch too high. You were supposed to measure them with them turned off or on, and they had to go throughout the whole building, change it, just petty regulations, and less regulation makes it more attractive to companies and people to build a business. Thank you.
Ms. Tokarikis?
Could you restate the question one more time?
Am I on? All right. In the area of economic development, what would your plan be to attract new businesses into the many economic opportunity zones within the county?
As Colleen mentioned, we are working very diligently with our new economic development agency, JARI, to market our existing business park, which has tax abatement programs that are available for new businesses that are in place until the year 2035. The business park itself has those tax abatement programs for businesses that want to expand or locate here. Economic development has changed very much over the decades. We don't chase smokestacks any longer. Your biggest expansion in businesses are existing businesses right here in your county, and we need to do a better job at reaching out to our local businesses to provide those opportunities to expand locally. So I think it's just to enhance what we have been doing. It's a slow process, one that takes a lot of time and effort, and it does pay off.
Yes, I agree. I think we need to retain the businesses we have. But for so long, Somerset County's been 20 years behind the rest of the nation. Whenever you get down to Carlisle, you see businesses springing up all over the place. West Virginia, just like I said about Cabela's. And you go to different places and you see Akron, for instance, Akron, Ohio, how businesses are just flourishing there. Do we have all the answers? Maybe not. But we need to provide businesses with incentives to come to Somerset County and pay that wage that we want our families to enjoy and earn a good living and educate our children here.
So during the 25 years that I've been working selling tech solutions in the country, what I've learned is that the value of information is probably more important than anything else. And over my career, I've developed relationships with, let me let you in a little secret. The people that always know where companies are growing, expanding, or looking to are real estate attorneys, our business and industry attorneys, and our real estate development companies. I have relationships on a national level with guys like that know companies that are looking, where can we go? And what they won't find, because they're going to go to the internet and look, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, they come to our website and go to the next county over. What we need to do, right, is pound the phones, build relationships with these people, and let them know that we have great tax-friendly business opportunities right here to come to Somerset County. We have a workforce that's ready to go to work. You know, Mike, our superintendent at Wimber, also is on the Josh Shapiro's board for the education. Am I shut off? Sorry.
One more time, could you repeat the question, please?
All right, here's the question. In the area of economic development, what would your plan be to attract new businesses into the many economic opportunity zones within the county?
I think Somerset County has always been proactive to bring businesses in Somerset County. We have an industrial park. We have a water system. We are working on 219 to get it completed. I think what we can do, working with our regional partner, is look at the businesses that are existing here in Somerset County. One of their biggest issues is the supply chain issue. And are there companies that can be brought in to help alleviate the supply chain issues that they so desperately suffer from? So I think that's one opportunity that we could take, working with our partners, to promote small businesses coming in for our existing manufacturers.
Mr. Fuffman.
The first thing that I feel we need to take advantage of is what I like to call Pennsylvania's biggest unnatural resource, which is the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Okay, we have to use that as a marketing tool to bring jobs in here, to bring businesses in here. And I've heard several of the candidates mention JARI, okay? The J in JARI stands for Johnstown. Okay, the last time I looked, Johnstown is in Cambria County. No one can convince me that JARI's top priority is Somerset County. Now, I'm not saying dissolve our relationship with JARI, keep that relationship, but I think the future lies in us developing our own Somerset County Economic Development team to get back in there and build businesses and keep Somerset County first. Again, I'm a Somerset County first. Anything that we can keep here and do for ourselves, we need to do. We don't need to outsource it. What? It's still not Somerset County.
Okay. No. We want to keep the outbursts from the audience. You guys have been fantastic all night. Up to this point, please continue to be fantastic. So these guys have an opportunity to complete their answers and complete thoughts from the stage. So we'd appreciate that. Mr. Kimmel, you're the final person on this particular question.
So, Mr. Betcher said, we need to advertise our industrial parks a little more, because a friend of mine, his brother is a real estate developer from Florida for large businesses and corporations, and he searched everywhere and could not find our industrial parks listed. I think we need to do a better job of marketing our industrial parks, and with the expansion of 219, I believe that we need to push for an exit on 31, to utilize that new industrial park that we have.
Thank you. Thank you. Number 10 on your list is the next question. It's going to start with Mr. Bumbarger, and here's this question. If elected, what qualifications do you bring to the position of commissioner that will help you be successful?
The qualifications that I would have is that I've managed my own business, keeping my head above waters. I know what it takes to make sure that the bills are paid and that the work gets done. And as a mechanic, I would like some fancy new tools, but I know that somebody has to buy them. As a member of the Water Authority, we would like to do a lot more spending of money, but we know how much we have and what we can do. We can't put in the sewer system ourselves till we get grants. And as in the fire department, being one of the smallest fire departments in the county, or the smallest, with a very small budget, we keep our equipment maintained well, the building maintained. We handle what has to be we don't get all the chrome that we want. Sorry.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tokarikis?
I've done the job. I understand county government, its responsibilities, what it can do and what it can't do by itself. I have been able to, throughout my career, work in partnership with organizations that advance the county's agenda. I have worked closely with the county employees over my years of my tenure. I'm proud of county government. I'm proud of my record. I'm proud of what Somerset County government does. We did not close during the pandemic. County government continued to operate. And I think the fact that I've done the job is evidence that I do have the qualifications that it takes. Thank you very much.
Mr. Shepley, you're next.
Yes, I had 33 years with PennDOT, and most of that was as a assistant county manager. I've been trained, and like I told you earlier, and certified, and went to leadership academies and what have you. But I worked in floods with the National Guard as a sergeant, and with PennDOT, the tornado in Salisbury, I was in charge of operations there, and I dealt with $12 million budgets at the time with PennDOT, and on winter maintenance and buying equipment and materials. I've worked with state and federal agencies during the tornadoes in Salisbury and 96 floods that we had in Somerset County. I think just my experience in life that I've...
Okay, Mr. Betcher, you're next.
I've worked with private industry for over 25 years, making businesses more efficient and more effective. I think the organization that is Somerset County is in some ways in need of an overhaul as far as becoming more efficient, because I don't think, old saying in business is the most valuable resource you have walks out the door every day at 5 o'clock. I mean, I think some of the people working for the county feel underappreciated, and I think you can take some real time and pay attention to their needs and get everybody sort of motivated. You know, they say people don't quit on companies, they quit on individuals. I have a strong history of taking people within an organization and bringing them together. When we redid Wimber Stadium, this is probably the best thing. I raised in a county of 5,000 people a little over $1 million in about 10.5 months to finish that project. It's crazy that we accomplished it, but everybody did.
Mr. Walker?
23 years as a public servant, 15 spent as township supervisor, and 8 years here in the county. One of the things that I am most proud of, and this carries over from my township days, is my ability to pull the team together that it takes to advance many of the projects that we do. I can't do anything on my own, but if I have one ability, that's to build the team that I need to move Somerset County into the future.
Mr. Fuffman?
Well, I've worked at about every level of government, state government, borough government, and now county government. So I can bring all that experience to the job. And once again, I think my relatability and my personality, I'm able to work with people from different backgrounds, different professions, and different experiences. I think I can relate to people on a level, and whether we're talking, to the blue collar guy or the white collar, lawyer, doctor, whatever profession. I have relatability, and I think I can bring that to the table. I think I can get things done with anybody that is willing to work with me. I'm willing to work with them.
Mr. Kimmel?
So, my 10 years experience at the school district level, we've always been able to balance our budgets, give our teachers, their raises within their contracts, all the contracts, negotiate through them without any unnecessary legal fees between both sides. We have maintained the third lowest school tax in the Commonwealth, while still being able to maintain our facilities and, give the best education to our students and provide the athletics that they have. Why putting $6.5 million in our fund balance to prepare for future expenses as far as like putting roofs on or, concrete projects, paving projects, and things like that.
And Ms. Dawson.
Yes, so my 34 years as a paralegal with real estate and contract experience makes me invaluable in this position. I have found whenever we were doing our COVID dollars, there was a contract that had a discrepancy in it, and there was an error in it. Even our consultants that we hired to go over those contracts didn't find it. It resulted in a $600,000 savings to Somerset County because I pay attention to detail. That's my background. And also, I started as in-county government, in government period, as the president of Stoystown Borough Borough Council. And during those years, I then went to the County Boroughs Association, where I served as vice president. And now I have stepped into the shoes of a county commissioner. I've done the job, and I do it well. My experience, my passion for this county, this is what makes a difference.
Okay, we've done a great job of staying on schedule, and I'm told we have time for 3 more questions. Coincidentally, I have 3 questions laying right here remaining, and if there's another one that you guys have that you'd like me to ask, go ahead and bring it up. Otherwise, we'll wrap up with the 3 that I already have, and we'll go back down to the far end with Ms. Tokarikis starting off. Question number 2 on the list down here. What do you consider to be the top issue affecting Somerset County, and what would be your plan to address that issue?
I think the top issue affecting Somerset County is the change in our demographics. We are facing an aging population, as most rural communities are in the Northeast. We are seeing the loss of population with every 10-year census that we do. And what does that mean for the county? That means there are fewer people who will seek out public office at the local level. There are fewer volunteers that will help our volunteer organizations, our volunteer fire departments, our nonprofit organizations. It means that there's fewer resources that our public entities are able to meet their obligations with. And I think that that is the challenge that we have as elected officials at the county level, to understand that there are dynamics that are at play that we're going to have to recognize and deal with. That changing demographic is really having a big impact on Somerset County.
Mr. Shepley.
Yes, I believe that we need to work harder and work smarter. We have some county employees that are underpaid. The sheriff's office was one of them, and other county employees that we're struggling to keep those people here. I think it's a real problem. Do we raise taxes? I don't want to raise taxes. I want to work smarter. I want to get together with all the agency heads, and I want to get together with the row office people and see where we can maybe trim some fat. If not, then we have to look at other avenues of raising revenue. And the last thing that I want to do is raise taxes. Another thing is keeping our young people here. Again, let's finish 219. You finish 219, doors are going to open up at industrial parks that we have, and that'll help build our tax base up, and we'll be able to maybe keep those people here. Thank you.
Mr. Betcher.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I sure can. Here's the question. What do you consider to be the top issue affecting Somerset County, and what would be your plan to address that issue?
The county as a whole, I think the biggest issue is that the young people are leaving us, guys. We have a growing elderly population, and the older folks ain't getting any younger, and the younger folks aren't sticking around. That is a recipe for failure long term. And if we don't address it now, things aren't going to get any brighter around here, unless we make them so. So I think the biggest issue we have to face is how do we get opportunities to keep the young folks around and raise their families in an area that we know is a great place to raise families. How do we do that? We do that through organized efforts to market all the positives of living in this area, of working in this area, of bringing business to this area.
And Mr. Walker?
Well, I agree that workforce is one of the biggest issues that our county faces right now. I'm going to go a different path. I'm going to talk about the mental health issues that we see every day, and I mean every day, whether it's dealing with them in our court system, our jail, our children and youth services, or everywhere, and we have to be better prepared to acknowledge and support the services dealing with those mental health issues that have seemed to be brought forth more since the pandemic. So I know my answer is a little different. There's a lot of issues that the county commissioners face every day, but I do feel that this is definitely a priority.
Mr. Fuffman?
I think the problems with Somerset County are no different than the county than what affects the rest of the country. You know, we're looking at the breakdown of the American family and drug addiction, okay? And a lot of that stuff kind of goes hand in hand. You know, people talk about the lack of workforce here. Well, because we're losing a generation to heroin addiction and crystal meth. We see it every day. At the prothonotary office, the four main things that I see are divorce, custody, protection from abuse orders, and credit card debt, okay? To me, that boils down to one thing, the breakdown of the nuclear family. Can the county do anything about that? I don't know. But we have to give people the opportunity, and I think you start with economic development. Show those kids that there's another path in life, you know, that there is a future here, that we don't have to turn down that dark path of drug addiction.
All right, next, Mr. Kimmel.
So what I think some of the top priority, issues are Somerset is also retaining our youth, but we also need to have the jobs, to secure their future here, to become home, and as Mr. Bumgardner and myself are on fire department, we need to do something about the 911 towers in our county, that all the dead spots that are life essential for families that are out there, and our first responders to communicate with county, and our fire chiefs and our rescue captains and everyone like that, and we also need to address the salaries of our county employees. We train them to leave for somewhere else, and I think we need to keep those people in our county. We need to train them and pay them better to stay here. We don't need to train them to go somewhere else and work.
Ms. Dawson?
First, I would just say that I am proud to be one of our current Board of Commissioners who have just dedicated over $4 million to actually expand the emergency radio service here in Somerset County. We used our ARPA money for that. So that is being addressed. We are probably 70% through the project. So one of our biggest issues in Somerset County is our people. So there's a Center for Rural Pennsylvania who actually has a graph, and I have it in my office. And in 1994, the number of deaths started to outweigh the number of births. So we have a decline in population across the Commonwealth, across Pennsylvania, and across Somerset County. So in addition to that, our school enrollment goes down every year because of the lack of new births in this area. And our workforce and our aging demographics here in the county are also of large concern to everyone.
Mr. Bumbarger.
Is this question referring to the county government or the county as a whole?
County as a whole.
Okay. One of the big things I see in the county is there's a lot of drug abuse. It's the same people constantly, just with broad strokes. They are not contributors to society. They are tax consumers, and they walk freely, and we all know who they are, even in our little town. And occasionally we get to bury some of them. I see drug abuse as a great big problem.
Next question, we'll start with Mr. Shepley. It's number 6 down here. And here it goes. What could county government do to better promote and support agriculture in Somerset County? Agriculture specifically.
There are some programs out there with Farm Bureau, and I'm really not on top of those programs, but being my father was a farmer at Queen Township, soils conservation could work a lot closer with the farmers. We need not to develop those farms as far as roadways and things like that. The farm is a dying thing. Yeah, there used to be around our house, there used to be farms, maybe 5 or 10 of them that are no longer in existence, or they were bought up by maybe a bigger farmer. But the way of life with the farmer is it's a big business now, and it's really trying. I think maybe lower taxes might help.
Mr. Betcher?
I am the grandson of Polish immigrants that were coal miners, and I do not know how to help farmers. I'm not ashamed to say that. I would meet with, the Somerset County Farm Bureau, who was nice enough to help sponsor this thing. I'm sure probably has some great ideas on how county government can help. So what I would do is sit down and meet with the folks of the Farm Bureau and understand their business, the challenges that they face, and ask the experts what they're facing and how to fix it. And then I think the responsibility of Somerset County government is then to take that feedback and go to work to try to make it happen. I would call resources, I guess. But, it starts with feedback. It starts with conversation with the people that know.
Walker?
Well, you've heard me say this many times this evening, and what I failed to mention during my opening was that I am proud to have grown up on a dairy farm and spent many years on a dairy farm after I left high school prior to my township days. One of the individuals that I worked closely with is here tonight supporting me, and always has and always will be one of my biggest supporters. What I will say is I go back to partnerships all the time, and I'm proud of the partnerships that the county has currently with not only the Farm Bureau, but the Chamber. And I'm going to put in a plug for an event that is happening May 12th. I'm sure Ron will correct me if I'm wrong, at Penwood's Farm in Berlin. And that event brings hundreds, 700 or 800 eighth graders from across the county. Last year it included every school district in the county.
Mr. Fuffman?
I'm going to have to go with Mr. Betcher there. My dad worked in the steel mills. I think I made hay one time in my life, and I realized that farmers have a tremendously difficult job. But with the same thing in mind, I would go to the source. We have to speak to those individuals and see what their concerns are, and then try to address those concerns as quickly and as properly as we possibly can. They're the source. I'm not the source. The county's not the source. They know where their difficulties lie, and I'm sure Mr. Kimmel would be a great resource for them. With that.
Mr. Kimmel, you're next.
So, growing up on a dairy farm, it is a tough life, but it's a great life. you can't teach that. It is just, it's bred into you. I work in the dairy industry still, and I hear the concerns of a lot of the farmers. A lot of it is the fuel prices that we can't control. That comes from a higher level than us, and the fertilizer cost, which is also petroleum based. But we have a couple great resources here in Somerset County to work with. Like I said, the Farm Bureau, the Conservation District, and a lot of these farmers are very smart individuals and do a great job at running their farms the most efficiently they can. We need to utilize them as resources to help, see where county government can help them.
Ms. Dawson?
Yeah, so I would like to expound a little bit on what Commissioner Walker had actually said. We do promote the partnerships. We're very thankful for our open relationship with the Farm Bureau and also with the Chamber of Commerce. This upcoming Day on the Farm, if you will, is an opportunity for many different facets of agriculture to speak with 8th graders from across the county. And they actually go to different tents in different areas, and they have people who are very interested in promoting their certain areas of agriculture. That can be whether it's with a bank, making loans for people to purchase farms. You can also look for soil conservation there, for producers of honey, producers of maple syrup, and also people who make a living off of flowers. And whenever people who work on equipment and vet techs, there are so many different aspects of agriculture and different employment opportunities with.
Okay, Mr. Bumbarger?
One of my favorite farmers that I know, he used to host a thing called Dumb Farmers Day. It was a joke he always did, because you had to be dumb to stay in farming. You don't make no real money. That being said, on the county's end of things, taxes is about the only thing, their property tax, and they already get a different rate for that. But to help the farmer, for the county to help the farmer, that's one of the biggest things, is just holding the line, or even giving them even a better deal on their farmland and buildings, the taxes on it. Thank you.
Ms. Tokarikis?
Throughout my career, I have been a member of the Somerset County Farm Bureau, and as such, it enables me to understand better the pressures that are on agribusiness in Somerset County today. It is a vital part of Somerset County's economy. There are challenges that are faced by that sector of our economy, and we have made sure at county government that we have always had good, open relationships. We have a seated member of the agricultural community on the county's leadership committee that we have bi-monthly meetings with. Harold Chalice has been that representative for a number of years. The county does operate the Clean and Green program. We also partner with the Conservation District for the Farmland Preservation Program, and I will continue my strong commitment to the agricultural community in Somerset County.
All right, we have one more question. We'll go through the panel, and then we'll allow for closing arguments. This last question will start with Mr. Betcher, and here it is, number 3 down here. Tourism has a huge economic impact in Somerset County. What can you as a county commissioner do to help continue the growth of that industry in the county?
Marketing. I mean, we have to do a better job at selling ourselves. The tourism, the outdoor activities in Somerset County are largely unknown for people that live as close as, I mean, I have good friends that are avid trout fishermen and hike and just don't understand the trails, just the opportunities right down the road. And it's not readily available to them. So I just think at the end of the day, we just got to let people know outside of this region how good this region is. You know, it sounds simple, but it's not. I mean, there are advanced marketing concepts and approaches that aren't super expensive that can return pretty strong results for the county. So what I would do is just get to work on selling all this county has to offer.
Mr. Walker.
As a current county commissioner, one of the things that we do constantly in our positions is to promote the building of additional trails. As we've seen in our trail towns and the towns that are looking forward to the trail coming, this is a huge factor in our economy. So we have a fantastic Parks and Trail Director in Somerset County, Miss Lindsay Baer, and we will continue to support her efforts to find the grant funding to build these trail systems without burdening the taxpayers of Somerset County. And additionally, we'll push our legislators to provide maintenance dollars to build these or to maintain these trail systems.
Mr. Fluffman.
I think it all goes back to marketing. You know, we've got a beautiful little gem of a county here, and no one knows about it. We have to get the word out. You know, Somerset County is a great place to come visit, and it's a great place to live, all right? But nobody knows that. We have to get the word out. It all boils down to marketing. You know, whether it be, you know, a covered bridge tour or taking advantage of the ski slopes that we have here in this county, marketing, marketing, marketing. Maybe put a link off of the county website to it. I don't know the answers, but it all boils down to marketing.
Mr. Kimmel.
Yeah, I agree with a couple of the candidates here. You know, we need to market, you know, the great resources we have. You know, we was named America's County for a reason. You know, it is a wonderful county. It's a great county. It's beautiful here. You know, we have all 4 seasons in May. You know, it's wonderful, and we need to promote that. You know, it is a wonderful, great place to live and come visit. You know, like we do have the trails and, you know, the ski slopes. We need to market, you know, the things that come here and do a lot better.
Ms. Dawson.
Yes, actually, I think our Chamber of Commerce does an excellent job of promoting Somerset County tourism. We are a 4-season county. We have many things to offer. We have wonderful ski slopes. We have 42 miles of the Great Allegheny Passage. And as a member of the Chamber, I look forward to helping them promote our county even more in the future. And also, I serve on the Tourism Grant Committee for Somerset County, where we take 5% of every visitor, every hotel booked in the county, 5% of the revenue that they generate actually goes into the tourism grants. This year, there's a 17% increase in revenue in the tourism grants. And we encourage everyone to work together to get more money to work as partners so that it's regional for the tourism grants. And the last thing I want to say is at the county fair, I have a booth where we promote the Chamber of Commerce and all of the pamphlets that they have out there for barn tours, to look at barn stars, to have motorcycle tours in the county.
All right, Mr. Baumbarger.
This sounds like a broken record, but I agree. Getting the word out, letting people know what's here, and there are lots of trails, lots of things, lots of covered bridges. Some you get to drive over, some you don't. You have to walk over. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Getting the word out, advertising, letting know. Thanks.
Ms. Tokarikis.
Millions of dollars are being driven into marketing Somerset County as part of our 3-county tourism promotion agency. The Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau is one of the most preeminent visitors bureau in the state of Pennsylvania. You would not see the numbers of the hotel tax that we collect if it were not connecting with an audience who comes here, many of whom have decided to make Somerset County their second home. So marketing efforts are underway, not only by the Visitors Bureau, but also by the Somerset County Chamber of Commerce, who does many of the tours that were mentioned earlier. It is important to continue to support that hotel tax. Somerset County was one of the counties that was the very first to peel off a portion of that tax and drive it back into the local economy through the tourism grant program, and we will continue to be committed to doing so.
And Mr. Shepley.
I think the Chamber's doing a wonderful job. If you happen to go down to Eaton Park where my grandson works, you walk in the foyer there, and off to the left you'll find a bunch of pamphlets of all the things that are happening in the Laurel Highlands. We were just over at Maresdale at the Maple Festival, and we talked to probably a half a dozen people. One couple was from Arkansas, another couple was from Michigan. The word's getting out. You know, they're coming here. Maybe we need to go to different areas and advertise a little more, but I think the Chamber's doing a wonderful job.
All right, we're going to have closing statements from each candidate. Before we do, I want to put some thank yous out there. I want to thank the Somerset County Chamber of Commerce and the Somerset Farm Bureau for hosting this event. Of course, the Somerset Area School District. Mr. Zanoni, yes, applaud for the Chamber of Commerce and the Farm Bureau. Definitely applaud for the school district, and they've done a fantastic job. Mr. Zanoni and his fantastic students who prepared questions, who did a lot of the work. Why don't you guys stand up so they can see who you are? Down here also. Okay, yes, 8:30. That includes the two ladies who were running the lights on the timer down here. Did a great job, folks, running the lights up back. Just a fantastic job all around. Also wanted to recognize our sign language professional. That was fantastic having her here tonight. All of you as an audience, thank you for coming out to hear these candidates, and remember to vote on Election Day. And I wanted to thank all 8 of the folks who did come out tonight, gave fantastic answers, and obviously you have a fantastic county and a lot of pride in it, so remember that when you vote. Thank you, sir. One thing I was asked to let everybody know, they're hoping to close down about 8:30. So when we're done here, you'll have a few minutes, half an hour at the most, to mingle and come up and talk to candidates and do that kind of thing if you want to. But by 8:30, we all need to be out of the building so they can start to get ready and moving forward to tomorrow. And now it's a moment for each person to give their final statement, their closing statements. They get 1 minute to do that, so the timers will be running, and we're going to turn things around. We're going to start at this end with Mr. Bumbarger, and we're going to go backwards, right to left as you're looking at these folks. Each of you have a minute to make a closing statement. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you for coming, and thank you for putting up with my stuttering and stuff, but I think I can be an asset to this county. I've helped in a lot of different organizations in the past, whether it's the Boy Scouts and other groups. I've been a leader in the fire department I've been a fire chief for 20 years, and have to work with a lot of different people you like, you don't like, people that you'd rather not see, and some people that you enjoy to be around, and you have to be with all of them. And I think I can be an asset. Thank you.
Ms. Dawson.
I'd like to first applaud everyone for coming here tonight, and those watching on YouTube as well, because you are here because you're active in your communities, you're active in your county, and you want to make sure that you educate yourself to make the best possible choice in this commissioner race. So I want to let you know that experience matters. Absolutely. My 40 years of experience in real estate and contracts, My last 3 years and 4 months as a county commissioner, it absolutely matters. And county government is too important to have on-the-job training. You have to know what you're doing, you have to come in, and you have to be able to hit the ground running on day one. Thank you.
Mr. Kimmel, closing statement.
So, if I was given the opportunity to be elected as county commissioner, I would work with our employees to get them back on the right track with their pay, and their benefits to be able to afford them. I would get the life-saving departments the tools and the resources they need, as far as 911 and the sheriff's department, the DA's office, the probation office. They are a life-sustaining asset to this county and the residents of this county, and we need to keep them fully staffed. And I will always have an open door policy for all the employees if there's any issues. Thank you.
Mr. Fluffman.
You've trusted me 2 times already. You trusted me to protect and serve you as a Pennsylvania State Trooper. You've trusted me to be your prothonotary. I ask you to trust me one more time. Trust me to be your county commissioner. I will do everything that I can to repair the relationship between the commissioners and the row officers. I'll do everything I can to repair the relationships between the commissioners and the county employees. And I will do everything in my power to move Somerset County forward.
Mr. Walker.
I think most importantly, I'd like to again thank Mr. Zanoni and his youth government class, not only for putting on this event tonight, but for realizing how important this race is, and for your input in those hours spent to pull this event off. So thank you so very much. And to everyone here this evening and in the social world, I would ask to please take the time on May 16th to make the informed decision. Don't allow the misuse of social media to drive your decision on a candidate for a commissioner. I'll be here for you in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Betcher.
I think public service is a very difficult job, and I just think I want everyone here to know that I respect you all and that I appreciate, what you've done up to this point, and I believe everyone here cares, I think if you're a voter saying, hey, who are we going to vote for, we said a lot of stuff here tonight. I'm going to have to go check the video and remember everything I said, I think, but I think if you are happy with the direction it's going, I think our system is great, right? Because you've heard a lot of ideas here from the different candidates. I want to thank everyone for putting this on. I want to thank the other candidates for being great. And look, if you want to learn more about me, it's probably based upon Jerry's last comment, go to Mike Betcher for Somerset County Commissioner on Facebook and check me out. But please don't say anything bad. I will block you, and I don't want to hear about it, frankly, okay? So thank everyone for coming out, and thank you guys.
Mr. Shepley, your closing statement.
The closing of small businesses and factories, the failure to attract new businesses, our empty industrial parks, all 4 of them, creating and filling these parks would only build the future for our young people who are looking to live in Somerset County, which would add to our tax base. Water and sewage infrastructure needs to expand in the communities where it doesn't exist. Everyone deserves access to good, clean water, safe water. The completion of 219 will create jobs, fill our industrial parks, along with helping small business and boost our economy. If elected, I will work for the people of Somerset County, making America's county a great place to live, work, and educate our children. All 74,128 of them. Thank you.
And Ms. Tokarikis.
When you're a candidate, you promise, and when you're an incumbent, you have to deliver the proof. In the past 4 years, I have been part of a team that has led the county through the pandemic, delivering nearly $21 million in federal CARES and rescue funds to support local businesses and nonprofits, improve outdoor recreation, and deploy internet services to teach students out of school. We helped to attract state and federal funding to complete all pre-construction work on Route 219 and are seeking the final $100 million to build the road by 2031. And in the face of shifting demographics, continue to address the largest impact on workforce in our lifetime. There's more work to do, and I ask you to allow me to continue to do it. My dad taught me to never forget where I came from and to never run away from challenges or bullies. I never have, and I never will. Tokar Ickes, Democrat for Commissioner, and I respectfully ask for your vote on May 16th.
Okay, that concludes our forum. Thank you very much to the audience. You were fantastic. Thanks to all the organizations and the students who helped to put it on, and especially the candidates for giving up their time to come here. Please drive safely going home. We have until 8:30 to exit the auditorium.